So I wasn't sure when exactly we were going to tackle this subject and this topic, but I guess now is as good of a time as ever, as there's just more creepiness and weird things involving Miles Morales, aka Shameik Moore, the actor that plays him in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and the original Spider-Verse film. So in this video, we're going to take a much bigger look at the bigger picture and a bigger deep dive into the whole situation and the creep factor, and why pretty much everybody is now turning against Miles Morales. Well, okay, the actor playing him, not Miles himself. Because I don't think Miles would do this, because, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. Something that the actor apparently never picked up on. So the actor Shameik Moore, who of course has really made a name for himself playing Miles Morales, over the course of the last few weeks and even months, and people have looked back at a few other instances over the years, has really turned out to be somebody that a lot of people are creeped out by, and they're just wondering what exactly is his goal and his point. And if his goal and his point is to creep everybody out and potentially end his career and, well, make himself hated by his co-stars, then I guess he's doing a good job. But before we get to all of that, we gotta rewind for just a bit. So let's go back to what I will call the industry plant Spider-Man love factor. But before we get to that, I gotta explain what a industry plant is. So essentially in every industry, there are hand-picked specific actors or singers or whatever you will that are planted in there for a political and or a specific gain related to a company, or a political view, or something like that. Most people look at some of the big actors over the course of the last 20 years, and they say, I think that actor or actress is a industry plant. Many times these actors do not have the skills, or these singers don't have the skills, but somehow they break through, they become like a symbol in the industry, but they're absolutely awful. One person that's been highlighted as an industry plant that a lot of people are saying, yeah, this actually makes sense because she's terrible and can't act, is Gal Greenstein, who changed her name to Gal Gadot to sound more native. She burst onto the scene out of nowhere, suddenly gets the biggest roles as one of the highest paid actors, and gets to play Wonder Woman, and everybody was just sort of confused. There's tons of other actors I could toss into this, but she's the one that's always brought up first. Now that we got that out of the way, what's important to this conversation is industry-planted relationships, which also happen. And a lot of people look back at the history of Spider-Man in live action, and you notice a pattern. During their entire time together making the trilogy, Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst were dating. The moment it was over, they both went their separate ways and never talked to each other or mentioned each other again. They, of course, are not the only ones, as once they were done, the next couple, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, enter the picture. Again, they had a full-on relationship, and once both of them were done with Spider-Man, it suddenly didn't matter anymore, and they were going their separate ways. Which then brings us to the latest Spider-Man castings, which of course is Tom Holland and Zendaya, and well, they are dating, they are still together, they seem to be happy. So the jury's out on whether or not people suspect that they are industry plants, but it's something that people think is a real thing with the Spider-Man and MJ factor, or even a Gwen Stacy factor, as that helps promote the on-screen relationship, and this has actually been done, and there is discussions about it that have surfaced from Hollywood, where actors were actively told to be seen in public holding hands or to kiss each other on the cheek or something like that. And in the 90s and early 2000s, this was something that was a lot more prominent in front of the paparazzi. Now, okay, I've spent about 4.5 minutes and we still haven't gotten to Shameik and what's going on, but I needed to lay down all this groundwork because I think it has something going on with his situation here, right? So, in case you missed it, Shameik Moore voices and plays Miles Morales. Now, he of course does this in animated form, and over the last, ever since the beginning of the Spider-Verse, he's made comments, innuendos, and made some people uncomfortable with how he talks or presents himself, or how he's super flirtatious with co-stars. Most notable among them, of course, being Hailee Steinfeld, who plays Spider-Gwen. But she's not the only co-star of his, as Lara Harrier has also been in the same situation. But before we get back to her situation, let's talk about the Hailee Steinfeld situation, because this is where things really hit the ground running with this whole, hey, what are you doing, Miles Morales? What are you doing? And well, it goes all the way back to when Hailee Steinfeld announced that she was engaged, where he followed up with a few vague tweets, and then this is the one that really stuck out to people. There's still more people to meet, more opportunities to come, and more chances to try. Live, learn, apply. A lot of people said, you know what, that's fine, it is what it is, he's just stating his opinion. But then there's ones like this, where he said, I'm going to watch Paper Moon, just so I can be closer to Hailee. And the way he keeps looking at her during these interviews, tries to get closer to her and says specific things, you can see that she was legitimately uncomfortable and is legitimately uncomfortable, and doesn't get her very suggestive, please stop, I don't like this. Now, it was soon after this that people started looking into Shameik and some of the things he said otherwise, and well, then they found another controversial post which put him into more problematic territory. So here it is. Actor Shameik Moore suggests that Rosa Parks should have just taken a cab. I don't even need to explain or clarify anything here. If you don't get it, I can't help you with this, honestly. So we're just going to move on from this problematic post and statement to what happens next. So he decided to take old photos of himself and Lara and start posting them online with the caption coming soon, which trades and everybody picked up as, hey, these two are dating. That's what he's announcing. They're going to come out with it in the open and announce it to the world. Look at that. Here we go. Except here lies the problem. She is actually engaged to Sam Jarrell. Hopefully I said his name right. And the two started their relationship all the way back in 2019. So Shameik seems to be indicating that possibly she was cheating on her fiance or something like that. He would then post this all in a video on his TikTok. She would then reach out to him to ask him to please take it down because it's hurting her relationship perception, and people are trying to contact her to be like, hey, what's going on with you and Shameik? He instead refused to actually delete the photos and the video. He would then issue a apology video talking about how it was a misunderstanding and how the people, the fans, and the industry took this as effing weird. And he means no harm, and that the post was just art for him. This, of course, as one would imagine, also garnered a bunch of backlash because it's a really dumb thing to say. Now, I gotta circle this all the way back around to industry plants. Whether or not this is true or not, you be the judge, but there is a perception that if you're playing Spider-Man, you will be dating your co-star. I think Shameik might have taken this too literally and tried way too hard. And honestly, it comes off as very creepy. And that doesn't help any more to his case when he goes after people he's literally taken photos with and or is suggestive that he's in a relationship with them. And he saw the blowback due to this because he decided to take himself off of social media, more or less wiping out his trace online. Now, of course, this doesn't fix much. Sure, he's done this and he's hoping people will forget by the time he's back, but he's still going to be in the next Spider-Verse film and doing press tours with Hailee. And you just know journalists are going to bring it up. So this is a really problematic situation, and as a lot of people have pointed out, multiple times he was asked, she suggested, people asked him. There's reports that even people were saying, hey, don't post this, that his team might have tried, but he wasn't listening. So this becomes very problematic when he constantly keeps pushing against the woman's will. And obviously, you know, it's a whole situation. I waited a while to talk about this. I did have a video made on the Hailee situation when it first hit, but there just wasn't enough for me to go into, hence why this video is much longer, and I wanted to kind of cover all my basis in this and what's going on. So hopefully you guys understand. It's a very, very strange situation involving a very creepy person, to be honest with you. And this is one of those things that, as people are saying right now, is giving them a red flag in regards to him. And rightfully so, because there's nothing Spider-Man about what he's been doing. And that's a little unfortunate. Well, everybody, thank you for watching that video. And as always, you can like, subscribe, share, do whatever you will. Check out the recommended video that's popped up somewhere on the screen. And also, if you would like additional content, including more discussions and more unfiltered content, check out what we offer to the members section, which has new videos going up all the time.